Oh my God, you guys. So I just had the most amazing aha moment. You know how when you kind of know something and it's kind of in the back of your brain and you're just like, you think about it without really thinking about it subconsciously, and then all of a sudden it comes to the forefront of your brain and you're like, oh my God. And that actually happens to me with a lot of supposed Mandela effects or reality residue. And this one's no exception. And some of you guys may totally disagree with me. You may think I'm totally off my rocker. Some of you may think I'm totally reaching here. But I think it's really odd. And I want you to look at it. And oh my God, you guys were so awesome weighing in last time with the last video I did. I loved it. And I love the conversations. So if you want to weigh in with this one, it's so interesting. But before I show you the footage and the reality residue, I want to go back to a video that I made probably in about August or September of 2019. Geez, I keep thinking 2019 was a year ago, and it wasn't. Anyway, this has to do with Monopoly and reality residue from the Monopoly guy. And anytime anybody wears a costume for the Monopoly guy, and I'll leave the link to the video down below. But my friend and I, she's like another affected friend, she sent me this picture. And if you can see, this kid is dressed up as the Monopoly guy. And if you look at his right eye, it looks like it's squinting a little bit, but he's really not wearing a monocle. And it's really weird. It looks like it's been photoshopped out, or it looks like he has some really weird skin condition under his eye. But as you can see, it's squinted because obviously he would have to hold the monocle in his in his eye socket. So that was really strange. So my friend had this theory that it either looks like a bad Photoshop job, or we also have these theories that like certain things are being wiped out of our reality, like what's being wiped out, what's being overwritten, what's being wiped out next. And I have some videos about overwriting of reality, which is like a weird concept that I had, and then also to internet codes having been found in our reality. I have a video about that where I mention it a few different times. Essentially, there's this Neal Degrasse Tyson interview. I'm not trying to get too deep into the weeds here. I wasn't even going to go here. But anyway, essentially, there's this Neal Degrasse Tyson interview, and he's interviewing this scientist named Claude Shannon. Or no, I'm sorry, he's not interviewing Claude Shannon. He's interviewing Dr. Sylvester. That's what it is. And Dr. Sylvester says that not only do we have internet codes embedded in reality, but that there are certain kind of internet codes written by a scientist named Claude Shannon. Claude Shannon was a scientist in the 1940s, so they must have already been working on the internet in the 1940s in some type of capacity. But what I found so weird was that these internet codes, they're browser codes, they go all the way back to the 1940s. So I'm thinking to myself, why would they not have progressed? Like if that's our reality and they only go back to the 1940s, why? And then I thought it's kind of like a time machine thing. Like in other words, if they want to overwrite reality, they have to go back as far as they can go, because if they don't have browser codes from far enough back, then they can only overwrite so far in reality. So what I'm thinking, a lot of people think that these browser codes are naturally found in reality. I'm thinking it's the reverse. I'm thinking somebody, namely Dr. Claude Shannon, embedded these in reality so that we can overwrite reality the way that we would the internet. It's just a theory. It's 3D. It's not even a theory, really. It's a hypothesis. It's amusing, but I thought it was a really interesting one. So anyway, because it just makes no sense. Like, why would somebody Photoshop this? Why would somebody Photoshop this out? In part because this picture comes from coolesthomemadecostumes.com. So upon visiting the website, I found this. When my son said he wanted to be a board game for Halloween, I admit I thought it was crazy. What I didn't know is how awesome it would be and how much everyone would love it. And then it goes on to list the ingredients for the costume. I love calling it ingredients, like as if you're going to eat the costume. But look, one of the things that's in there is a monocle from the dollar store. $1. That's a deal. But He's not wearing a monocle. But this is just basically what you find when you scroll down on this same page. Like, and also too, if there was a monocle, you'd see a string. It's just the weirdest thing. So, in keeping with that, I wanted to talk to you about the song Guillotine, or they're saying it Guillotine like the French, by the Coup. One of my favorite songs ever. And so I felt like looking at and watching the video today, and I noticed something that I couldn't help but not keep in my subconscious anymore. And that was, okay, so they're going up to Oz. It's an Oz themed video. And they're going to get the Monopoly guy. It's the Monopoly guy who represents the great evil. Now, if you see, he's clutching his face right there. And it looks like the kind of thing you'd do if you were adjusting a monocle or you were holding onto the string of your monocle. But that's not what he's doing. Look at this. He's got, it's this weird thing that he does with his facial hair, with his fake facial hair. It's like it's a part of a mustache. So he's coming out of the Oz face, and then he takes it off like it's a beauty mark, and he puts a piece of the mustache like on his cheek where a beauty mark would be. But it's also just under his right eye, like the same as with the kid. Well, the same side as with the kid. See, if you look again, it's just so bizarre. He falls down and then he's like, I'm adjusting this piece of hair on my face to make sure it's in the same position. It makes absolutely no sense. And then they put him in the guillotine. But it's so strange. Because again, it's like the same side of his face. You can see that, well, obviously if he had a string to his monocle, it would go down that way. And it goes down on the cheek, on the eye. So, I don't know. And they don't sell mustaches. Like, it's a fake mustache, or it looks like a hair from a fake mustache, but it doesn't, but they don't sell mustaches in piecemeal fashion. In other words, they don't sell mustaches as individual hairs. They sell the entire mustache. Oh, and it's funny, he has a white mustache, and the guy in the video has a brown mustache, but that's not really significant. But it's just so strange. I don't know what to make of it, but there's no reason. Like, I can't even think of any kind of symbolism where the guy should be adjusting his mustache. It's just really, really bizarre. Like, why would you adjust your mustache and put one piece of your mustache up to your cheek? It's just so random and weird and strange. Anyway, you guys let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you know. And peace out.